Hi everyone and welcome back to F1 Beard Show. In today's video I will discuss and rate drivers on their US GP qualification. But before going into that, I would like to mention a great person which F1 lost yesterday due to his illness. This is Dietrich Mateschitz. Sorry if I pronounce it incorrectly. Um, Anyone who considers himself as a fan of this sport knew this name and what this person did to this sport. He established Red Bull Racing Team, which gave the world great racers and champions, and 8 racers are currently on the grid this year. Again, another team, Toro Rosso, which is now called AlphaTauri, and of course, incredible racetrack in Austria, which gave us a lot of good races throughout these years. Okay, let's now dive into US GP quali and start from the back. And 20th in quali, of course, was one and only Nicolas Latifi. He's a great guy, but yeah, he just doesn't deserve to be in F1. And 3 reasons was already too long for such a performance he had. Again, maybe he will show himself in other series as did Stoffel Van Dorn, which was actually destroyed by Fernando Alonso back in McLaren, and then he won Formula E championship. So my score for Nicolas Latifi is actually 4 out of 10, and just for not crashing during the session. Right in front of Latifi, Schumacher, and oh boy, that's not what you need when your career could be decided in any session in F1. And even if you have a famous surname, you have to show what you've made of on the track. And especially spinning in the last attempt on the flying lap and finishing 2 tenths behind your teammate doesn't help at all. 3 out of 10 as well for Mick Schumacher, as he wasn't that far off his teammate. First shock of the session is 18th place, occupied by Esteban Ocon. And honestly, I'm not sure what happened to him during the quali, as all weekend he was right at front with Fernando Alonso, but when it matters, he couldn't deliver. In my opinion, this is the worst time for a bad performance, as Alpine is rigorously fighting with McLaren for P4 in Constructors' Championship, and every point matters, and difference between P4 and P5 is a tens of millions of dollars. But my quali rate for Ocon is 1 out of 10, because you cannot be out of Q1 when your teammate is fighting in Q3. Another disappointment, but not so shocked to be honest, is P17 and Daniel Ricciardo. This car just doesn't suit him, and I think he will be very happy in Abu Dhabi when this is all over and this horrible part of his career in McLaren comes to an end. Again, nothing to say, and 1 out of 10 for quali, and I don't see any positive predictions for the race. K-Mag and P16. I think his performance is not that bad, and actually he's extracting as much as possible from the car. But Albon got ahead of him in a much slower car, so I can't give him a greater rate than 5 out of 10. Not so sure about the race pace of Haas, but what's important for K-Mag is that he has to be as away as possible from the troubles, especially at the beginning of the race, because he broke so many front wings in this season and just need a clean race, even if it's not in the fight for the point. Tsunoda and Gasly from AlphaTauri occupied P15 and P13 respectively, and if I didn't hear anything from Tsunoda, Gasly was very vocal about his preparation for his flying laps. In his first attempt, he just went straight into N1, and his last attempt was not clean as well. So I have to give Tsunoda 4 out of 10 and Gasly 5 out of 10. And honestly, I don't have any hopes for the race as there are much faster cars in front. And Zhou separated 2 AlphaTauris and got P14. But before that, he had a great lap, which put him actually in Q3. But then Stewart deleted his fastest lap due to track limit, and he was the first one to become a victim of a track limits in quali. Other than that, he had a great pace throughout the weekend, and I think he has a good chances to fight for the points. In the meantime, I have to give him 4 out of 10, as he failed to stay within the track limits, and this situation put him out of Q3. P12 and Sebastian Vettel. In my quality predictions in shorts, I thought that he would be in top 10, but unfortunately it was just a wishful thinking, as Vettel just didn't have a pace in quality even compared to his teammates. But again, Aston Martin showed some good pace this weekend, and I'm looking forward to the race and battle for the point. But my rate for quali is 3 out of 10, as I expected more from him. Alex Albon and P11. Incredible lap for this guy and well-deserved applause from everyone. The only thing I'm not sure is whether that is the real potential of the car or he outdrives the car so often. Unfortunately, with Latifi, we can't get the answer to this question, and hopefully next season, with a better teammate, we will know. But for this quali, I have to give Albon 9 out of 10. Great job. And now we are in top 10 territory, and Valtteri Bottas occupies P10. Finally, Flying Finn returns to Q3 after disaster few races where he was out of Q1 when he was out of points, and I really hope that his car will fight and score some points today with the latest updates in the car. 8 out of 10. Fernando Alonso P9, and honestly, I'm a bit disappointed. As I really thought that Alpine will be fourth team in the US in terms of pace, but it wasn't the case in quali. In my prediction, I even put him fighting for P5, but that never happened. 7 out of 10 because compared to his teammate who was out in Q1. Lando Norris and P8. This guy just delivers every weekend with the machinery he has. It's definitely 8 out of 10 and hoping he can hang on to the points in the race. Lance Stroll, and hear me out, P7. Best of the rest. Let's just give him 10 out of 10 right away, as Aston Martin is not a frequent guest in Q3 shootout, and Lance had a great weekend so far. Russell and Hamilton, P6 and P5, respectively, and separated by less than 500ths of a second. Honestly, they're just in the middle of nowhere. They're far ahead of the rest of the field. They are not so close to the big boys like Red Bull and Ferrari, so it's expected by them to be P5 and P6 every quali session, and everything above is a bonus. Decent quali sessions for both of them, so 8 out of 10 for Hamilton and 7 out of 10 for George, just because he was behind. Sergio Perez and P4. That's big disappointment. 3/10 from the pole. I expected more from him, especially how many fans came to see him and support him, and that was a big rehearsal before his home Grand Prix. Again, I'm disappointed and have to give him 6 out of 10. He will start 10 position back because of his engine penalty, and honestly, I do not expect anything spectacular from him today. Max had a decent session, I would say, but he couldn't extract maximum from his last flying lap, even though he was flying and was purple in sector 1 and 2, but had a yellow third sector, and that's why he was around 1/10 of the pole. Anyway, he will start second behind Carlos Sainz, and he will have a good shot at winning another race. For me, it's 8 out of 10 performance. Charles Leclerc did a good job at minimizing the effect of an engine penalty, but couldn't be faster than his teammate. I think he has a good chances to get to the podium, and that should be minimum what this team aims to do. I would give him 8 out of 10 because in his last attempt he did actually improve his time, but again it wasn't enough for the pole. Carlos Sainz gets the pole position in US. He had an incredible lap, especially the first one when he was 4 tenths ahead of the field. And when I saw it, it was just, whoa, game on. He did everything he had to do, and he deserves 10 out of 10. If he's first after turn 1, he has a good chance at winning, considering two things. It has to be a great strategy from the team, and it should be even greater tire management from his side. But it won't be an easy win because he will have a charging Max Verstappen behind him. And that's a wrap. These were my thoughts on quali and some thoughts on the race. Hope you enjoyed. If you agree or disagree with me, you can share it in a comment section. In the meantime, you can like this video and subscribe to my channel for the future videos as well. Take care, good luck, and let's have a great race today.